So, good morning, ladies. Today, Group 5 will be presenting on the question, what indicators can be used to assess the extent to which development is conscious of human development goals? The group consists of Shauna Ashley, President Bailey, President Francis, and myself. So we looked at the question from an essay point of view. So here's the introduction. This essay seeks to assess the extent to which indicators of development is conscious to human development goals. Development is a process that creates growth, progress, positive change, or the addition of physical, economic, environmental, social, and demographic components. The purpose of development is a rise in the level and quality of life of the population and the creation or expansion of local regional income and employment opportunities without damaging the resources of the environment. Additionally, human development focuses on economic growth as well as concerns for equity, sustainability, and empowerment. The factors that promote development are entirely dependent on the type of development that is trying to be achieved. As it relates to human development, the Human Development Index is a statistical measure developed by the United Nations to assess the social and economic development of countries all over the world. It considers 3 indicators of development, namely education, life expectancy, and per capita income. Okay, so first point, we'll be looking at education. The point is, it is undeniable that human development can be achieved through access to education. The term education can be defined as the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, morals, beliefs, and habits. The evidence. This can be connected back to the colonial period, where education reflected and served the needs of the metropole and the plantation elite over and above the majority of the population. Education provides a pathway to help people to grow mentally and economically by expanding their understanding of cultural and social practices in the region. Example, data shows that an educated person has a range of knowledge and skills that allows he or she to think with reason, to appraise the best options and decisions that can be made to live a better life. Because of this, educated people are more likely to be free from the obstacles of life, such as poverty, lack of an open mind, and minimal or mediocre aspirations. The link. We can therefore see that education is an essential aspect of human development that not only benefits individuals, but also the economic growth of a country.
Okay, so next we will be moving. Next, we're moving on to life expectancy. So the first point is life expectancy is a statistical prediction for how long a person will live, and it is a key metric for assessing population health. It gives an indication of the health resources, access to the resources, poverty, and whether or not people have access to clean water, food, and also political problems, such as civil war. So, explanation. Life expectancy in some countries, for example, Haiti, is extremely low because of factors like war, working hardships, and sickness. Deficient sanitation system, poor nutrition, and inadequate health services are also key factors. Poor sanitation can lead to the outbreak of diseases, for example, typhoid fever, that because of lack of access to doctors and safe water led to dozens of preventable deaths. So this is a next explanation. So despite Cuba being a developing country, their healthcare is exceptional. Cuba has universal healthcare, and infant and maternal mortality rates are less than most developing countries. Additionally, the education system is 100% subsidized by the government, meaning that Cuban students at all levels can attend school for free. The Cuban government has been investing a substantial part of its budget into education for many years. So these are some other examples. Currently, microstates like Andorra, San Marino, and Singapore, along with Japan, have the world's highest life expectancies. Africa is home to some of the lowest life expectancies, with Swaziland 33.2 years, Botswana 33.9 years, and Lesotho 34.5 years, rounding out the bottom. So those were like some international examples, and these are some ones in the Caribbean. So Puerto Rico has the highest life expectancy for women at 83, while Cuba also has the highest life expectancy for men. The US Virgin Islands has the second highest life expectancy for women at 82. The lowest combined life expectancy in the region is in Haiti at 61 for males and 63 for females, according to the World Bank. So link. Life expectancy of a country is directly linked to the socioeconomic status of a country. However, there are other factors such as per capita income.
Okay, so the next point is per capita income. So it's also called GDP per capita, and it is an adjusted economic measure that reflects the difference in the cost of living between countries. Per capita income is the total income earned from goods and services produced by a country in 1 year divided by the total population for that country in that year. It can be used to compare the wealth of countries and to give an idea of the average income of its inhabitants. Per capita income is criticized because it represents the average income of the population and does not take into consideration the unemployed, old and retired individuals, or children. So for the explanation, so GDP, gross domestic product, is a measurement of a country's total national income or the value of its goods in production and the services provided for the year with the exclusion of income from the informal sector, the cash-only transactions, or tax and subsidies. The Gini coefficient is the most widely used indicator today to measure inequality. Calculated on the basis of income, it is an important tool in comparing levels of inequality between countries and within a country. It reflects the proportion of persons in a society who have the resources to live a comfortable life and those who do not, by measuring the richest and poorest citizens. 100 represents perfect inequality. So the example is, okay, so in US dollars, 2012 to 2013, the Bahamas GDP per capita was 22,312. Trinidad and Tobago was 18,372, and Jamaica was 5,289. The unemployment rate in 2007 to 2015 for the Bahamas was 14.2%. Trinidad and Tobago was 6.3%, and Jamaica was 13.1%. The Gini coefficient for Jamaica in 2004 was 45%. For Trinidad and Tobago in 2005 was 39%, and for Barbados in 2020, it was 47%. So the link, if GDP is rising and Gini is also increasing, then it may mean that the majority are not benefiting from a rising income. When this gap becomes large, social stratification is permanent, and the poorer groups can find it hard to get high-paying jobs, bank credit, training, healthcare, or housing. A small gap means social mobility is possible through education and job rewards. Governments can try to redistribute income through social programs and taxation policies.
And now for the conclusion. Based on the discussion, there are three indicators that should be considered in order to accurately determine the extent to which human development goals are achieved or met. Education is one such indicator, as it allows for persons to grow mentally and economically by diversifying their understanding of their society. Another indicator is life expectancy, which assesses the average number of years a person is expected to live and also their health. The last indicator, per capita income, also known as GDP per capita, is responsible for analyzing the total income earned by each individual in a country. However, it is important to note that though it is relevant, it is not an accurate representation as it neglects those who are underemployed, unemployed, retired, and those who are children. To conclude, human development is a very important aspect when assessing the overall development of a country or region. We have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 5. Thank you very much. Very good presentation. That's how you argue it, and you provided the evidence, and the explanation was on point. All right. And remember that these essays, ladies, these are past paper questions, and there are different ways they can attack the questions. It's not one way to attack it. Once you say to what extent in a question, means that there are several different answers they can give to it. All right, so very good attempt, Group 5. Group 6, discuss the extent to which sustainable development is a viable option. Group 6.
Good morning, everyone. We are Group 6, and we will be doing Sustainable Development and the Environment. Group members are Abigail Davis, Ariel Thomas, Aliana Palmer, Serene Shirley, and Alethea Richardson. So our question was, in light of the region's vulnerable environment, discuss the extent to which sustainable development is a viable option. Let's peel. So firstly, sustainable development, we want to define it. So sustainable development is the idea that human societies must live and meet their needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The official definition of sustainable development was developed for the first time in the Brundtland Report in 1987. Goals of sustainable development. So there are three primary goals of sustainable development. Firstly is to minimize the depletion of natural resources when creating new developments. Secondly, to create a development that can be maintained and sustained without causing further harm to the environment. And thirdly, to provide methods for retrofitting existing developments to make them environmentally friendly and facilitating project. So our four main points we have, are coral reef, recycling, reforestation, and better farming.
Coral reef preservation secure the future, save the
We're not hearing.
Oh, sorry, sir, I couldn't see the slide.
Okay.
Coral reef. Okay, the definition. Coral reefs are large underwater structures composed of the skeletons of colonial marine invertebrates called coral. They often grow along the coast of islands and are a crucial part of hurricane protection as they act as wave breakers. The presence of coral reefs on the coast of the Caribbean islands provide food, tourist attractions, job opportunities, biodiversity in the ecosystem, and safety from hurricanes. That was the point. As a long-term factor that contributes to sustainable development, coral reefs provide fish for fishing villages and fish markets, protection from high tides during hurricanes, and tourist attraction, aid in countering vulnerable environments. Explanation. Corals provide shelter and food to at least 25% of all marine life. Marine life such as parrotfish, lionfish, and crustaceans are in demand as seafood and are found mainly in coral reefs. They are important to the human diet, a source of vitamins and minerals found predominantly in seawater animals. Protecting the coral reefs for future generations ensures that these fish are still on the market and can provide sustainable income to the future generations and continue to benefit and the health of the nation. To ensure that this is sustained, fisher folk are advised not to overfish or harm marine life by abusing the ecosystem. This abuse can be using boats, harmful fishing guns, and some nets. Coral reefs are also a major factor in the prevention of extreme damage from hurricanes, which often plague the Caribbean region. Back to the other one. A barrier for coastal regions and lessens the blow experienced by high tides and floods caused by from hurricane rains and winds. Finally, major economic benefit of coral reefs is the attraction of tourists. The Montego Bay Marine Park Trust is a major natural tourist attraction and has been a natural reserve to hundreds of corals since 1992. The presence of coral reefs increases the Caribbean's blue economy and hence increases economic diversity and in turn strengthens the economy with foreign exchange and job opportunities generations. Link. Coral reefs should be protected and invested in to ensure that future generations can be provided with the job opportunities, food, and a strong blue economy. They should be protected by acidification and degradation of reefs. Stop dropping trash where we splash.
Recycling. Recycle today for a better tomorrow. So recycling is the process of collecting items that would otherwise be disregarded as trash and converting these waste materials into new products. This is done in a manner where the essential nature of such materials is not altered, allowing them to be reused. The act of recycling paves the way towards a sustainable future. It is one of the central practices a population can undertake to ensure the preservation of the environment. This is shown as benefits such as the conservation of natural resources, the protection of ecosystems and wildlife, and the reduction of toxic waste and environmental pollution are reaped from this act and serve as major players in protecting the world around us. Natural resources are finite and they're often in short supply. Therefore, their conservation is essential, and this can be achieved through recycling. So by recycling paper and wood, we preserve the trees and the rainforest. And by recycling metals, we reduce the need for expensive mining and extraction of new metal ores. And this is a process which is damaging to the environment. Ecosystems and wildlife are often in harm's way when ventures to harvest or extract raw materials from the earth are made. So then by recycling, we can make certain that there is a significant reduction in the cutting down of forests, the diversion of rivers, and the displacement of and harm caused to wild animals. Toxic waste and pollution are the leading agents in the deterioration of the environment. Moreover, it also poses a threat to humans and animals alike, as they can absorb these toxins when consuming food. On that account, recycling can help to protect the health of the population and its wildlife, combat the production of plastic waste, which is harmful to marine life, and reduce carbon emissions and therefore fight against climate change. As can be seen, recycling goes a long way in protecting our environment, and this is crucial in maintaining a sustainable way of life, as it not only improves our current quality of life, but safeguards the future for the generations to follow.
Reforestation. Plant a tree so that the next generation can get air for free. Reforestation is the process of regenerating or replanting trees that have been destroyed or damaged for the benefit of mankind. Occasionally, forests have the capability to regenerate due to the dispersion of seeds. However, forest lands that are badly degraded cannot be regenerated unless planted by using the native methods. In light of the region's vulnerable environment, reforestation can aid in sustainable development by undoing and rectifying the effects of deforestation and improve the quality of human life.
Evidence. This is illustrated by providing jobs or improves productivity through community service activities, improves air quality, and it improves the quality of human and animal life. Explanation. Reforestation helps provide jobs for people, example planters. This aids in sustainability in that it provides people with income, which they can use to ensure their basic needs are met, thus aiding in quality of life. It also improves the quality of life by absorbing pollution and dust from the air, which allows for an increase in oxygen in the atmosphere and reduces the possibility of airborne diseases. Rebuilding natural habitats and ecosystems, thus preventing animal extinction, and mitigating global warming, which limits excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and preventing the rise in sea levels. Link.
From the evidence and explanation given, it is clear that reforestation is a viable option for improving the region's vulnerable environment.
Better farming, agriculture that works for the future. Sustainable agriculture is farming in sustainable ways, meeting society's present food and textile needs without compromising the ability for current or future generations to meet their needs. Point. As the region's environment is vulnerable, better farming methods may be an aspect of sustainable development that may be a viable option to satisfy the agricultural needs of the current and future population. Farmers are encouraged to practice using climate-smart agriculture. This can also be seen in the use of effective seeding techniques and crop rotation. The goal is to reduce the input of external energy and to substitute non-renewable energy sources with renewable sources. This can be done with the integration of solar power, wind power, biofuels from agricultural waste, where economically feasible, animal or human labor. Organic farming is a practice that contributes to sustainable farming and reintegration of nutrients to the soil. Explanation. Renewable energy and farming works greatly hand in hand. Wind, solar, and biomass energy can be harvested forever, providing farmers with a long-term source of income. Renewable energy can also help reduce pollution, global warming, and dependence on imported fuels. Economic farming is based on developing ecological biodiversity to interrupt the habitation of pests and diseases and ensuring meaningful maintenance and improving of soil fertility. This concept refers to agricultural production systems reliant on green manure, compost, biological pest control, and crop rotation to produce crops, livestock, and poultry. Crop rotation is the practice of planting different crops sequentially on the same plot of land. This improves soil health, optimizing nutrients in the soil, and combats pest and weed pressure. Link. It is evident that better farming is a viable option to feeding the growing population. If the same unsustainable cultivation, planting, irrigation, spraying, and harvesting techniques are utilized in the future, they might prove to be financially burdening, considering fossil fuel resources are projected to run out. Therefore, adapting methods such as organic farming and the use of renewable energy are ways to exercise sustainable development in light of the region's vulnerable environment. We have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you.
All right, very good. Group 6. There's one thing also I just want to point out about sustainable development. I know that most of what you looked at was the environmental issues, but sustainable development basically say, as you mentioned in your definition, that it is really about development having everything being equal. So meaning that you're not going to ignore the economic indicators. You're not going to ignore the Human Development Index, but you also take into strong consideration the preservation of the environment for future use. All right. So you could also look at some of the not the environmental, the economic indicators and link that economic indicators either to environment or you could also link, for example, have some company come in to invest but ensure that those companies invest and preserve the environment. One example of that recently in Jamaica is the mining, where we have private companies coming into mine, not just coming to Jamaica and mine and take away and destroy the environment. Ensure that you preserve the environment for future generation. And then also the building of the roads, Highway 2000, where a lot of persons in the society complain about the dust that is coming either from the backside or the construction of new roads. The air quality has declined. And so we also need to, you could also link maybe infrastructure development to environment, if you understand where I'm coming from. But overall, ladies, the presentations were very, very, very good. All right.